So you're a teacher?
I am a teacher. I teach Chinese Kung Fu.
Like a gymnast?
Yes, something like that.
Hey, Chinaman, and I'm here to show you the taste of real combat. Fight me, cowards. That's that.
夠啦！我哋係咪應該用中國武術去改變外國人對我哋華人嘅偏見？
这些老外无时不刻的想撵我们走。
Aloha! This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And Saturday night, I had a chance to see a wonderful movie, one that surprised me when I was checking to see what was showing, because I had planned to go see some other movies, Uncut Gems, maybe Little Women, and then I saw Ip Man 4, the finale. It's like, what? Again with Donnie Yen. So heck yeah, I threw, it's like, forget those other movies, I'm going to go see that. And, well, without further ado, remember our rating scale, shock a thumbs up. It's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's bad to see, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for Ip Man 4, the finale with Donnie Yen, it is a shock a thumbs up all the way. 2 shock a thumbs up. Donnie Yen is the martial arts master of movies, the like of which we have not seen since Bruce Lee and Jet Li. For a time, Jet Li was the bomb. But possibly due to illness and age, he has cut back a lot on his movies. And Donnie Yen is getting up there too. But Donnie Yen has continued this Ip Man saga. For those who don't know, Ip Man is the master, the Kung Fu master of Wing Chun, which is the martial arts that Bruce Lee started out on. And it is the basis that Bruce Lee used, along with Ip Man, his master's teachings, to move into his own style of Jeet Kune Do. And throughout a decade at least, Donnie Yen has portrayed the character of Ip Man in multiple movies, starting all the way back from his, very beginnings there in mainland China to finally in this one, it was, I think, Ip Man 3, where he had fled the communist government of mainland China, like many of his friends and allies, to get into Hong Kong and to live free with his wife and child. Unfortunately, his wife is found to have some illness after giving birth, and unfortunately dies. So it is left with him to raise his son in Hong Kong. The whole movie, there's a whole, part 3, Ip Man Part 3, kind of gyrates around that and how he's coming to grip with losing his wife, and still try to be the grand master that he is. I think in 2, once he gets to Hong Kong, I think he has to, eventually regain his status and go through the other martial artists once again, very much so like he did on mainland China with these martial art masters, to reattain and attain his, and keep his title of Grand Master. He is in his field, his school of study, the Wing Chun, he is the ultimate teacher, practitioner of that martial arts. And there are other styles and other grandmasters as well. In this movie, in part 4, we find out that, and again, this is like all the other Ip Man movies, a sprinkling of reality and of the real life, that we know of Ip Man's life during, the time at which he was alive, when he trained Bruce Lee, up until his death from cancer at the age of 79. And this being the 4th Ip Man film, with Donnie Yen, being called the finale, it is the finale. At the end of this movie, unfortunately, I'm going to give you a spoiler, he dies of said cancer. And throughout this movie, he is dealing with that knowledge that he is going to leave this world sooner than he would have liked. I was like, hey, I wish my mother had gotten to the ripe age of 79 before she left this mortal coil of earth. I feel that's nothing to complain too much about, but when you're at the end, and he was in top shape even at the end, despite the cancer. Who knows how long he could have lived? Just his life ended before, its natural time would have ended, just as, the fate of Bruce Lee, his best student. But in this movie, Ip Man 4, he's coming to grips with that. He is strained by the relationship with his son as his son becomes a teenager. And he has to try to raise him as a single parent in Hong Kong and seeks a better life for him in America. And so he travels to visit his friend, his student, Bruce Lee, in San Francisco, and look for a school that he can send his son to, so that he can have more advantage than just living and being raised in Hong Kong. And unfortunately there, very much as Bruce Lee had experienced at the time, he comes across American racism for the Chinese, bigotry towards martial arts, Chinese Kung Fu, and he, not only in the Americans, but also the representatives of affluency in Chinatown itself. He is still seen as an outsider coming all the way from Hong Kong, whereas in America, in Chinatown, we do things our way, and you can't have your son come without our recommendation to the school. The affluent of Chinatown tell him. So he has to fight against that bigotry, the racism of Americans against Chinese people as well. And I'll be honest, like most of these Ip Man movies made there in Hong Kong, they don't sugarcoat the bigotry. This is not like, it's like, we'll just say, hey, yellow man a couple of times, or Chinese dog or something like that, once or twice. We're gonna really, it's like, I'll kill you, you son of a blah, blah, and it really makes, as the local, haole here in Hawaii, it made my skin crawl. I am not like that. I don't, my mother didn't raise me like that, and I'm quite happy she did. Keep me straight, not to be, racist like that. But, you know, this was back in the 60s, and unfortunately it was commonplace for even people in the South, even there in California. I mean, just a couple, you know, 3 generations or even 2 generations earlier, you know, all of the Japanese were interned in internment camps due to World War II. So, you know, America has a history of racism and bigotry. And in most of our movies here, except for maybe 1 or 2 Oscar Award nominated movies and winning movies, pretty much that's sugar-coated for the most part. You know, like even Green Book brings it up, but it's not as bad as it could have been. 7 Days, was that 7 Years a Slave? Now that was pretty hard-hitting along those lines and hard to take. And, you know, to me, hearing these racist slurs in all of the Ip Man movies, I mean, whether it be the Japanese and in mainland China during the occupation of World War II that Ip Man has to fight against, or even, you know, the Hong Kong Chinese against the mainland Chinese coming as refugees, fleeing the communist government and getting, you know, biased against, segregated against. And, you know, and just as Bruce Lee had fought against that kind of tyranny here in the United States, Ip Man finds himself at that as well. And, you know, they do bring on an actor that plays Bruce Lee magnificently and really puts to shame, I don't know if this is intentional, but really puts to shame Quentin Tarantino's deplorable representation of Bruce Lee in his movie, you know, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This Bruce Lee is Bruce Lee of yesteryear, and would not have any hard times, as it is shown in this movie, against an American opponent, Brad Pitt or not. So I'd like to think that they were making a statement in that being this final one. And we do get to see Bruce Lee in his glory, played by this wonderful actor, you know, take on, you know, multiple opponents. But again, this is just a mere part of this movie, as it centers around Donnie Yen's, you know, coming and basically, you know, as in all of his movies, the Ip Man movies, trying to preach equality for all and harmony with each other, you know, through the use of his martial arts and only fighting when he truly has to. And again, it is in defense of this persecution, unfair, unjust persecution against the Chinese, you know, nationals, you know, immigrants in the United States, there in San Francisco, and hoping that he can bring his son here and find peace as well. And that's all I'll say about the movie. This has, of course, as you know, Donnie Yen is a magnificent martial artist, and he has, like I said, as you hear in this movie, through Ip Man 1, 2, 3, and now 4, he has shown that he can more than hold his own physically in this role as Ip Man, the Grand Master of Wing Chun. But more so than that, in all of his movies, he's really grown as an actor, and I feel that he's kind of gotten the shaft. Many Americans still don't know the name Donnie Yen, despite having been in Triple X Part 2, The Return of Xander Cage, with Vin Diesel just a couple years ago. most people in America will know him from his character in Rogue One Star Wars, a Star Wars story, Rogue One, where he played the blind monk of Jeddah. Not quite a Jedi, but he was pretty close. Disney Plus is planning to do a show with Diego Luna, which was the character that got blown up on the beach at the end, with the woman when after they stole and sent off, transmitted the Death Star plans. So they're going back, and you're going to see an early life of him and his adventures before Rogue One. Why can't Disney Plus get Donnie Yen and show what he did, or growing up and becoming a monk in Jeddah, a monk of Jeddah, and we can learn so much from that. Yes, we got the Obi-Wan show on Disney Plus coming next year. We have the Mandalorian. We'll have this Diego Luna. Why not a Donnie Yen? That would be so great. Maybe because he is an international superstar, he might be too expensive for Disney Plus. But come on, the House of Mouse has deep pockets. And there's definitely potential there. They should definitely push for that. And anytime you can see more Donnie Yen, his acting in Rogue One was fabulous. Just over last summer, Chasing the Dragon, where he plays a drug kingpin, was amazing. Dramatic acting excellence. Again, I feel that Donnie Yen has kind of gotten overlooked with the likes of Tony Leung, of Chow Yun-fat, just to name a few. But, definitely he is the Ip Man in movie life. There have been Tony Leung, there have been other actors who have attempted to do the role. Tony Leung was possibly the most successful secondary to Donnie Yen when he played the character Ip Man in the movie The Grand Master. But still, he is not a martial artist. They did the best that they could with his moves for the movie. But it is nothing like what you see from all of these Donnie Yen movies as Ip Man. Definitely check it out at a theater. Look for it. I didn't know it was out. I saw it and I ran to it. That's how good it was. Shock a thumbs up all the way. Look for it on Netflix. I think you can watch some of the other Ip Man movies with Donnie Yen, and you will see how wonderful he is, not only as a martial artist, but as a dramatic actor as well. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, giving Ip Man Part 4, the finale, a shock a thumbs up all the way. Thank you so much, and aloha.